Conquers all.
It's about the guts of love. I like that.
Right?
Wow, that's like philosophical almost.
It's perfect.
Actress Brittany Murphy has died
Media
at
and
the age of
paparazzi
32.
surrounded the home that she shared with her husband, Simon Monjack.
I was around Ashton Kutcher and Diddy before, and they were speaking about Brittany Murphy. And I don't think I ever told this story, and I'm about to tell this story here. While he was married to Demi Moore, he was still sneaking around seeing Brittany.
Following news that the federal government is reopening Brittany Murphy's case, Ashton Kutcher may be set to join Diddy in prison 221. As preliminary reports indicate that there was a massive cover-up during the original inquiry into Brittany's untimely death, a mistake made by Diddy during his trial may have been the final nail in Diddy and Ashton's coffin. Is this the case? Have the authorities at last discovered evidence connecting Ashton and Diddy to Brittany's demise? It looks like Diddy's trial has taken a turn for the worse, and Ashton is going to follow him down, so you guys had best buckle up.
Start to think, well, okay, who gained from her dying?
There were more unanswered questions after the autopsy came out than there were answered questions.
People start thinking there's more behind this. There's something else.
In a startling change of events, speculations have been going around following the first week of Diddy's trial, which was held behind closed doors. It is not looking good, gentlemen. Here's the thing. The authorities apparently began investigating everything Diddy might be involved with when constructing their case against him. And as everyone who has spent the last year on the internet knows, Diddy has done a lot of shit. There are already rumors that the federal government may be receptive to reopening Brittany Murphy's case and doing additional investigation. Although the true cause of this is unknown, do not you find the timing of Diddy's trial to be a little suspicious? Many people on the internet are now speculating as to whether the federal authorities have discovered any evidence connecting Diddy to Brittany's death. You see, Diddy's name has been connected to a number of unsettling and dark tales over the years. He was accused of being involved in the untimely deaths of Tupac and Biggie, and he was also said to have desired Kid Cudi, who was expelled for having a romantic relationship with Cassie. His rumors have never really stopped circulating. His purported role in the unexplained death of actress Brittany Murphy, however, is one myth that has persisted in haunting his name. Brittany's death initially appeared to be a tragic but normal occurrence. Pneumonia, anemia, and a combination of over-the-counter drugs were the official causes. Until further investigation, nothing particularly unusual was found. At that point, the mold notion went viral on the internet. Some people think that the black mold in her house may have contributed to her symptoms and final demise. However, following a thorough investigation, investigators discovered no proof of any harmful mold in the residence. They ruled out that theory altogether, but there were still questions. The chronology was peculiar. Her husband, Simon Monjack, passed just 5 months later under remarkably similar circumstances, adding to the unnerving suddenness of her demise. Nobody could deny the strangeness of it all. And for some reason, rumors about Diddy kept coming up. Conspiracy theories that suggest a more significant and well-planned event may have occurred behind the scenes. It is simply one more cloud over Diddy's already contentious existence, even if the federal government has not formally acknowledged any connection linking him to Brittany's death. In the court of public opinion, where rumors often take on a life of their own. Here's the thing now. In Brittany's situation, a lot of things still do not match up, just like they did back then. This information has been brought to light by numerous individuals. The official story was rejected even by Brittany's own father. He did not think his daughter died from anemia and pneumonia alone. He therefore engaged a private investigator approximately 10 years ago, and everyone was astonished by what they purportedly discovered. Brittany's system showed symptoms of heavy metal intoxication, not merely trace amounts, but amounts that are compatible with gradual poisoning. This is when the link becomes shady. In the instance of Diddy's ex-girlfriend Kim Porter, who passed away in 2018 under equally enigmatic circumstances, rumors of the same kind of poisoning have also surfaced. Brittany reportedly told pals that she thought someone was attempting to hurt her in the weeks before she passed away. She even thought she might be poisoned. These were not merely paranoid ideas. She felt uncomfortable, watched, and sicker. Then all of a sudden, she was gone. As if it were not unsettling enough, her husband Simon Monjack also passed away 5 months later, nearly to the day. Anemia and pneumonia, same cause, same home. How likely is it? Many people still think that 2 deaths were not random. It seemed to follow a pattern. Furthermore, the similarities between Brittany's case and Kim Porter's have recently sparked new rumors that a sinister secret was being kept. The rumors of a cover-up, the involvement of foul play, or even industry-wide silence have only grown louder over time, guys. Some names like Diddy keep coming up as individuals begin to piece things together. The situation becomes even more complicated when Ashton Kutcher is added. Since they frequent the same parties and hang out in the same affluent Hollywood circles, Ashton and Diddy have been tight for years. It feels odd, though, because Ashton dated Brittany Murphy at one point, and he became very quiet after her passing. There was hardly any acknowledgement, no lengthy speech, just quiet. Fans found that quiet strange, particularly in light of Ashton's name being associated with some of the more unsettling stories surrounding Diddy's covert lifestyle. Brittany was more than a mere celebrity. She was quite popular in the early 2000s. She captivated the audience with her charm and charisma from the beginning to the end. She was truly loved by everyone. But her life was falling apart behind the camera. She died tragically at the age of 32 as a result of toxic relationships, loneliness, Simon's alleged financial control, and that mounting anxiety. Brittany and Simon shared a house, and on the morning of December 20th, 2009, the LA Fire Department received a 911 call. She had passed out in the restroom, he said. She went into cardiac arrest despite attempts to resuscitate her and transport her to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Hollywood has never quite moved on since Brittany Murphy was declared dead at 10 a.m. Fans and independent specialists have never agreed with the official version of Brittany Murphy's death, which states that she died from pneumonia, anemia, and various drug poisoning. What really caught everyone off guard, though, was the way her husband, Simon Monjack, handled the situation. Simon tried to prevent an autopsy as soon as Brittany passed away. Take a moment to process that. The one person closest to a healthy 32-year-old lady who unexpectedly passes away does not want an explanation. Alarms were triggered by that alone. Simon was legally powerless to stop the autopsy, and the coroner's final release of the results declared her death to be accidental. Then the ambiguity appeared. Simon was fast to minimize things, and the coroner's office first declined to identify which prescriptions were discovered in her system. He told People magazine that the only harmful items in the residence were cough syrup and herbal remedies. In the meantime, Sharon, Brittany's mother, openly supported Simon's assertions. She said that neither alcohol nor drugs were used by her daughter. She also conjectured that Brittany might have had a secret cardiac ailment at one point. However, behind the scenes, later, Sharon acknowledged that Brittany was becoming suspicious. She thought someone was attempting to poison her and hurt her, and it is more than a fleeting fear. According to reports, Brittany avoided specific drinks, increased home security with fingerprint locks and security cameras, and refused to eat anything unless she or her mother made it. That degree of fear is not unexpected. The mold theory comes next. Online discussion of poisonous black mold erupted when Brittany and Simon passed away within 5 months of one another. At first, it sounded plausible. However, another warning sign was raised when Simon and Sharon both declined to have mold testing done in their house, even though they had mentioned the idea themselves. Why stop the tests if they really thought mold was the cause? Later, the mold theory was permanently disproved by renowned forensic pathologist Dr. Richard Shepard. There were no spores in Brittany's lungs or fungi in her blood. No, it was not mold. What was it then? This is when the darkness begins. According to intimate acquaintances, Brittany's personality underwent a complete transformation in her last months. Fans no longer remembered her as the vivacious, adored actress. She was alone, absent, and nervous. She was also openly confiding in others that she thought influential Hollywood figures were trying to harm her. She was afraid she was being poisoned and watched. Furthermore, her paranoia was not unfounded. Her spouse, Simon Monjack, had a lot of baggage. He had a history of lawsuits, unpaid bills, and dubious activities in addition to dating Brittany when she was barely 17. Rumor had it that he was in charge of Brittany's finances, profession, and even her social circle. He may have had a deeper involvement in the mystery, but it has never been completely ruled out that he emotionally and psychologically isolated her. And it was either the most bizarre coincidence in the world or something much darker when Simon passed away 5 months later for the same reasons, in the same place, at the same time, and with the same symptoms.
I've never seen a case where a young wife dies and 5 months later, a youngish husband dies, basically from the same underlying factors.
Not only the same underlying factors, but even the couple's final hours alive are eerily similar.
Now that there was no fungal evidence to support the mold claim, focus turned to heavy metal toxicity, which is far more ominous. Angelo Bertolotti, Brittany's father, conducted his own investigation because he did not believe the official account of events, and the results were horrifying. Extremely high concentrations of heavy metals were discovered in Brittany's hair by a private lab. We are discussing elements like antimony and barium, which are frequently included in insecticides, rat poison, and even some toxins used in combat. This was more than a minor unbalance. These were extremely lethal levels that were compatible with gradual poisoning, which Brittany had dreaded and was caused by intentional exposure over time. The question then becomes, why was not this tested for by the initial coroner? Brittany had actually informed people she believed she was being poisoned, but it turns out they only check for poisoning if there is a specific reason to fear it. Another example is Brittany's own mother, Sharon Murphy, who was disregarded despite the fact that it was not only a warning sign, but a full-fledged siren. Things only got stranger after that. She lived in the same house, was there when Brittany and Simon died, and oddly supported Simon's version of events even after her daughter and son-in-law had left. There were also unsettling rumors, never verified but circulating in Hollywood circles, that Sharon and Simon became uncomfortable together after Brittany's death. A romantic or codependent relationship was also conjectured by others, which, if accurate, adds still another unsettling element. Sharon abruptly abandoned the mold idea she had previously promoted and sold the house as soon as Simon passed away. Why would she give up her quest for knowledge? Unless she already knew the truth, why the abrupt change? Next is the Hollywood angle, which involves the potential participation of influential people Brittany may have crossed. You see, Brittany was afraid of more than one person. The conundrum becomes more sinister when you consider the people she was acquainted with. She apparently feared Hollywood elites, people with protection, influence, and dark secrets. In 2002, she dated Ashton Kutcher. Although brief, it was intense enough that some believed they may be engaged. Ashton made a significant power move in Hollywood by moving on to Demi Moore right away after their very sudden separation. By the way, it has long been believed that Demi and Ashton attend Diddy's notorious freak-off parties, which are said to be full of exploitation, dark power maneuvers, and blackmail material. What role does Diddy play then? According to reports, Brittany started to inquire into the true nature of these gatherings. Some claim that she learned information that caused her great discomfort, particularly regarding the persons she believed to be trustworthy. Remember Diddy's ex-girlfriend Kim Porter? She also reportedly voiced worry for her life before passing away unexpectedly under suspicious circumstances from pneumonia and flu-like symptoms. That is not a coincidence, I repeat. There is a pattern there. The murmurs? Perhaps Brittany knew too much. She might have attempted to leave and voice her opinions, which can have fatal repercussions in Hollywood. However, there are still some unsettling questions. Why was Brittany so convinced that she was being poisoned? Who had the incentive and authority to ensure that the truth remained hidden? What caused two individuals in the same home to be silenced in the same manner? And just how strong are the ties between Ashton, Diddy, Brittany, and the dark elite of Hollywood? It can no longer be denied. Brittany Murphy had an incident, and the more you examine it, the more it appears that she was wiped rather than simply dying. However, what are your thoughts? Do you believe that if the federal authorities reopen the case, they will discover evidence that connects Ashton and Diddy to it? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Remember to watch our other videos to stay informed on the most recent developments.